Revolutionary greetings, comrades. In this video, we are discussing the President Trump meeting yesterday at the Oval Office in Washington, D.C. We are sharing the views or the view of a migrant. How does a Zimbabwean migrant view the meeting? What are the lessons drawn from that meeting from a migrant point of view? The answer is simple. It takes us back to 2002 at that World Conference. I think it was a conference on sustainable development in Sandton, where Robert Mugabe, then president of Zimbabwe, famously said, "Blair, keep your England, I will keep my Zimbabwe." And at the center of the issue was the expropriation of land without compensation. Of course, from a class perspective, we've discussed the issue of the DRC, but here we're sharing the view of a migrant. Because to a Zimbabwean migrant, the collapse of the economy is as a result of the chaotic land reform. The Jambanja, which we saw, the forcible removal of white commercial farmers, the destruction of the agricultural sector, the abuse or the brutality against the opposition. This is viewed from the point of view of a migrant as the cause of the economic problems or challenges in Zimbabwe. It resulted in thousands of Zimbabweans fleeing Zimbabwe to neighboring countries and Europe. So many of the Zimbabweans that are in South Africa are facing serious documentation challenges. We know of the anti-migrant sentiments against the Zimbabwean migrants. Whether it's the Zimbabweans that work in the hospitality industry, in the retail sector, any sector of the economy, Zimbabweans in general feel that they are targeted. But Zimbabweans in South Africa, the migrant, understands that South Africa's economy must be protected, because it is the South African economy that sustains the migrant who works in South Africa, whether this migrant is documented, undocumented. This migrant supports their family back in Zimbabwe. You'll recall the days where with no fuel, you could not purchase any groceries from the supermarkets. I've related a story that sometime in 2007, I was driving from Harare to Joburg. I was driving alone. I stopped at a Bata shoes shop in Maswingo. I wanted to buy sandals. The store was open. I went in, there were these shoe boxes in the shelves. When I entered the store, the person who was there told me that the store is empty. But I pointed to the boxes, said, "No, these boxes are empty. There's nothing." And then I said, "But why then I opened?" He says, "The government forces us to open. If we close, they will close. If we close, they will withdraw the license." So this person, this worker, every morning goes to the shop, a retail store, a barter shop, spends the whole day in that shop without pay. Because for a worker to be paid, customer in a retail shop or in a retail supermarket, customers must come, purchase goods, then the money that is made from such purchases, some of that money is used to pay salaries. So a migrant from Zimbabwe in South Africa understands clearly this. Whatever our views on the meeting in Washington, D.C., to a migrant, the meeting was a success. In that, even though there were videos that were played, President Trump trying to justify his accusation of a genocide, but to a migrant, the meeting was a success. It was a success in that, one, President Ramaphosa did not do a Mugabe to Trump. He sought to explain. He took a delegation which is not linked to the struggle for national liberation. A delegation that the authorities in Washington, particularly President Trump and Elon Musk, do relate well with. So they were in the forefront then explaining what is obtaining in South Africa, because in any case, a migrant understands that if sanctions are imposed on South Africa on the belief that there is a genocide, there's expropriation of land without compensation, jobs are going to be lost. And of course, those that went to White House, the Ruperts and company, they will also feel the pinch if sanctions are imposed, because they control the land, they control the economy, the financial sector. The entire economy is still controlled by them. But a migrant sees this as a good thing, in that the jobs are guaranteed, and the fostering of a relationship, as was the case yesterday, between the United States and South Africa, means that the economy might grow. That is this perspective from a migrant. And I'm saying it's not from us communists, but from a migrant. So, in the eyes of a migrant, President Ramaphosa took a right decision to go to Washington. He did not hurl insults at President Trump. He endured part of the humiliation, particularly being shown in those videos, which was not prepared for. And the president of COSATU then says they needed, or the South Africa needs, foreign direct investment to grow the economy. You know our views as communists in terms of the foreign direct investment, our attitude to that. But we are saying, what a Zimbabwean migrant think? And of course, as I conclude, a Zimbabwean migrant believes that if the South African economy grows and the more South African workers are employed, the anti-migrant sentiments will go down. But of course, there's a flip side. A migrant sees what Rupert said, that the killings that are happening, crime, is as a result of porous borders. He said because of migrants, or used the word aliens. He then also pointed out to the gang violence in Cape Flats. But the attitude of a migrant is that the President Cyril Ramaphosa did well. But of course, that's the view of a migrant, which is different from the view of a revolutionary, which of course we'll discuss later. Please write your views, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, goodbye.